Hello, welcome back. Today, we continue the story from the TV series Stranger Things. This retelling is made for English learners. The level is B1. I speak clearly and naturally. You can listen carefully and follow the story step by step. Now, let's continue. The story continues in the small town of Hawkins. At first glance, Hawkins still looks calm and ordinary. The streets are quiet, the houses look the same as always, people go to work, children go to school. However, the feeling in the town has changed. As a matter of fact, everyone now feels worried. Will is missing. Because of this, nothing feels normal anymore. Even though the town looks peaceful on the outside, fear slowly grows inside many people. Early in the morning, Joyce wakes up. She feels exhausted. She did not sleep well during the night. Her thoughts were full of fear and worry. She kept thinking about Will. She kept hoping he would come back. Joyce sits on the bed for a moment. She listens carefully. She hopes to hear her son moving around the house. She hopes to hear his voice. However, the house remains silent. Slowly, Joyce stands up and walks through the house. She calls Will's name again and again. She waits. She listens. But there is no answer. The silence feels heavy and frightening. Joyce goes into the kitchen. She looks at the table. She looks at the chair where Will usually sits. As a matter of fact, everything looks normal. However, Will is not there. Joyce walks to Will's room. She opens the door slowly. The bed is empty. His clothes are still in place. His personal things are untouched. Because of this, Joyce knows something is very wrong. Fear turns into panic. Joyce feels it in her whole body. She understands that waiting will not help. As a result, she decides to go to the police immediately. Joyce puts on her jacket and leaves the house. She closes the door behind her. She walks quickly through the street. Her mind is focused on one thing only. She needs help. At the police station, Joyce finds Chief Hopper. She starts talking as soon as she sees him. Her voice is loud and emotional. She explains that her son is missing. She says Will would never run away. Hopper listens carefully. He remains calm and serious. He asks questions. He tries to understand the situation clearly. However, he also tries to stay realistic. Hopper tells Joyce about the body found in the water. He explains that many people believe the body belongs to Will. As a matter of fact, this information makes Joyce furious. Joyce shakes her head. She raises her voice. She says very clearly, "That is not my son." She repeats it several times. She is completely sure. Joyce explains that she knows her child. She knows his habits. She knows his fears. Because of this, she refuses to believe the body is Will. Hopper listens, but he does not fully agree. He tries to calm Joyce down. However, Joyce feels misunderstood and alone. She leaves the police station in anger and sadness. At the same time, Mike, Dustin, and Lucas meet again. They stand together in silence. Will is not with them. As a result, the group feels incomplete. The boys begin talking about Will. They remember the night he disappeared. They remember the forest. They remember the strange feeling in the air. Because of this, they feel responsible. They also think about the strange girl they met. She was different. She was quiet. She seemed scared. As a matter of fact, they believe she knows something important. The boys decide to take the girl with them. They are careful. They do not want adults to see her. They quietly bring her to Mike's house. They go down into the basement. The basement feels safe and private. For 11, everything looks unfamiliar. She looks around slowly. She watches every movement. Mike brings her food and water. She eats slowly. She looks tired and weak. At the same time, she carefully observes the boys. Mike tries to speak kindly. He asks her simple questions. He wants her to feel safe. After a moment, she answers. She says her name is 11. 11 speaks quietly. Her voice is soft. She seems nervous. However, she stays with the boys. Slowly, a small amount of trust begins to form. Dustin and Lucas ask more questions. They want to know where she came from. They want to know what happened to her. However, 11 does not say much. She listens more than she speaks. Suddenly, something unexpected happens. 11 looks at an object in the room. She does not touch it. As a matter of fact, she uses her mind. The object moves. The boys stop talking immediately. They stare at the object. Then they look at 11. They cannot believe what they see. Fear and excitement mix together. They understand that 11 is not normal. She has special abilities. Because of this, they believe she may help them find Will. At the same time, they feel afraid of what she can do. Back at home, Joyce returns to her house. She locks the door. She stays inside. She feels safer at home, even though fear is still present. Joyce sits in the living room. She looks at the walls. She listens carefully. She begins talking to Will as if he is there. She believes he can hear her. Soon, the lights begin to flicker. They turn on and off without reason. As a matter of fact, Joyce feels a sudden sense of hope. She believes this is a sign from Will. Joyce speaks louder. She asks Will to answer. She asks him to give her a sign. The lights react again. Because of this, Joyce becomes more convinced. Joyce decides to use Christmas lights. She goes to the store. She buys many lights. She brings them home and places them on the wall. She writes letters on the wall. She asks questions. She waits for answers. The lights move. They seem to respond. Joyce feels fear and hope at the same time. Later, Hopper visits the laboratory. At first, everything looks clean and normal. However, Hopper feels something is wrong. The people avoid his questions. They give short answers. As a matter of fact, Hopper does not trust them. He notices strange behavior. Because of this, he decides to investigate further. He believes the lab is hiding something important. At school, the boys try to act normal. They sit in class. They look at the teacher. However, their minds are somewhere else. They think about Will and 11. They whisper to each other. They make plans. They feel responsible for their friend. They know they must help him. Joyce stays at home again. She watches the lights. She waits. She feels exhausted, but she does not stop believing. Suddenly, something terrible happens. The wall begins to move. It looks like something is pushing from the other side. Joyce steps back in fear. Her heart beats fast. A dark shape appears in the wall. It looks like a monster. It is tall. It is not human. Joyce screams loudly. The monster disappears as quickly as it appeared. The wall becomes normal again. Joyce falls to the floor. She is shaking. She is crying. Even after this terrifying moment, Joyce does not give up. She is scared. However, she still believes Will is alive. She believes she must keep fighting. This was the end of Season 1, Episode 2. The story is far from over. Many questions remain unanswered. In the next video, we will continue with Episode 3. Thank you for listening. See you in the next story.